Are you confused by all the announcements that the Canadian government made last week in the budget when it came to housing? Well, in this video, I'm going to go through in detail some of the major announcements that the Canadian government made, and I'm going to go through some of the legislation and some of the ideas that they have to calm the Canadian real estate market down. And so I will also link to the article so that if you want more information, you can go even more into detail. So let's get to it. Hi everybody, my name is Connie Sarvanandan and I'm a real estate agent and investor here in Toronto and the GTA. I am an active real estate investor. I've already bought a property in 2022. And so when I give you advice as a real estate agent, but I'm also going to tell you what I would do, whether I would buy and sell personally. So if you have any questions about real estate in Toronto or the GTA, feel free to call, text, email, or WhatsApp, or make an appointment with us on our Calendly and we'll be sure to help you out. So what's happening with the Canadian government and the announcements that they had with the budget? Well, we're gonna look at a Storeys article which gives you the highlights. And I'm gonna link to the Storeys article so that if you wanna read more details about it, you'll have that too. So let's go look at the Storeys article right now. Okay, so this is the Storeys article and it says 2022 federal budget, everything housing related you need to know. So what's great about the Storeys article is that it is a summary article, and then each of these articles underneath go into more detail if that's what you want. So what did the Canadian government introduce for housing? Well, what happened in the budget last week is that the Canadian government is stating the obvious, which is Canadian housing is becoming an affordability issue for Canadians. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse. So they are trying to introduce new legislations and measures that will calm the housing market down and also make it better for people to get into the housing market, particularly Canadians. So there's a bunch of things that they've introduced. Some of it is legislation and some of it is things that they want to introduce, but it's just words right now. There's no actual legislation behind it. So let's see what they're talking about. So the first thing that they want to do is they want to crack down on money laundering and speculative real estate. So when you click into this article, what does that mean? Well, first of all, money laundering is pretty self-explanatory. Housing is expensive, so it's a great vehicle for money laundering because it's large sums of money. And as the housing market started to heat up, so did money laundering. So they're doing lots of measures to try and calm the money laundering down. The next thing is they're going after speculative buyers. So what does speculative buyers mean? It means that these are the buyers that are buying it to make money on real estate. They're not buying it as a place to live in or a place for other people to live in. They're just buying it as an investment vehicle. And what you saw in the last couple of years is that there was a lot more people doing this because you can make more money in real estate than you could in the stock market. So there was just a lot of speculation going on. So how are they going to calm down speculation? There's a few measures that they've introduced. So the first is that they're looking at assignment sales. So assignment sales are new construction, and when you know typically what happens when you buy new construction is you buy it, whatever you've bought, let's say it's a new construction condo, it's not ready for about 4 years. So you buy it for a certain price and then by the time it closes, it's about 4 years later. Well, what an assignment is you sell it between the time you buy it and the time it's ready. And so you're making the gains on the property before it actually closes. And what the government is going to do is now when you do an assignment, the buyer is going to have to pay HST or GST on the purchase. So that is not going to be as attractive to buyers. So they're hoping that that's going to slow down the assignment because they feel like a lot of people are buying pre-construction for the opportunity for assignment. And so this will definitely slow down assignments. The next thing that they introduced is they're banning foreign buyers. So for the next 2 years, they want to ban foreign buyers from buying Canadian property. And what that means is the definition of a foreign buyer, there's some loopholes on it, like if it's your primary residence or if you're a student. There's ways around the foreign buyer, or the definition of it. They're saying any individual or corporation that's a foreigner cannot buy Canadian real estate for the next 2 years. It'll be interesting to see what effect this has, because there's a lot of debate on what percentage of buyers are actually foreign buyers. And there's a lot of debate if this ban will have any effect or not. But it is another one that they are introducing. The third thing that they're doing with speculation, and we've already actually had something like this, but they're really going to start enforcing it, is what they're saying is the flipping tax. So right now, if you buy a property and it's your primary residence, then you do not have to pay taxes on your capital gains on that primary residence. However, now they're saying if you sell that property within a year, and there isn't a reason for it, like a divorce or a new baby or a new job, then you are going to have to pay taxes on that gain. And they want to start reinforcing that. So that's another thing that they've introduced for speculation. The next thing that they're talking about is a home buyer's bill of rights. So again, this is just language. There's no legislation behind it, but what they're trying to do is introduce a home buyer's bill of rights, which would mean that things like they would ban blind bidding. Blind bidding is when you go and make an offer on a property, you don't know anything about the other offers on the property. You don't know what they're offering, what their conditions are, or anything like that. So you would open all of that up. So that's one of the things that they want to introduce. Another thing would be something like guaranteed home inspection, things like that they want to start protecting the buyers a little bit more. Again, a buyer's bill of rights is just language right now. There's no legislation behind it, but they definitely want to introduce it. The other thing that they want to introduce is a boost to new supply, means that they want to introduce $10 billion of investment to get shovels in the ground for new housing stock. Now, this will be really instrumental to helping with the overall market and overall pricing, because fundamentally, when you go back to it, it's always a supply and demand issue. So if there's going to be more supply, that will definitely help overall pricing, and it'll definitely help mitigate what's happening with the market right now. The only thing about this is, this investment, we're not going to really see the fruits of this for 3 to 5 years at least. So that's something to consider, but they're definitely dedicating more money to getting more housing out there. And then the final thing that they're introducing is support for first-time home buyers, and they are introducing a new first-time home buyers savings plan. There are some restrictions on who can participate and things like that, but overall, the idea is you can put up to $40,000 into an account for savings for first-time home buyers, and it's going to be treated like an RRSP. So, you get the write-off as far as you reduce your taxable income when you put money into it, just like you would with an RRSP. And then any gains within that account do not get taxed. So this is one of the good things that they're introducing. Now, the debate is, will $40,000 really help, especially in a market like Toronto? You know what? It's something. It's better than nothing, and I think it's a good thing, and it's really helpful for first-time home buyers. So those are some of the key ones. There are other ones that they go into more depth about, but like I said, you can go into the Storeys article and get more information about each one of those items. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, call, text, email, WhatsApp, or make an appointment with us on Calendly. And then if you have any thoughts about this video, we would love to hear it. We like getting comments, good and bad, because it helps us determine what kind of videos we should be making. So that's it. If you have any questions about this or anything else, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching. My name is Connie Sarvanandan. I'm a real estate agent and investor here in Toronto in the GTA.